than 3,000 miles, one driver, 6 full travel reports in less than 12 days, with no more than 3 fuel stops. The car...
There's birds and monkeys, and penguins and lions, and bears, and giraffes.
Have you seen Tillies?
No, I don't like Tillies yet.
As the sun began to sink low in the sky and the day slipped by, I took one last walk around the ship. The Sorolla has certainly seen some action since she was launched in 2001, with missing bench slats and rusty rails standing as clear reminders of the hours spent at sea. But at a substantial 20 knots, it wasn't long before the 172-metre roll-on, roll-off vessel was nearing the mainland. And what a destination!
Back in the car, we were soon driving around the kaleidoscopic city with its vast mixture of architecture. Ancient buildings dating back 1,000 years to great otherworldly structures that would look perfectly at home in any science fiction film. But we soon discovered that like any city, Valencia isn't the easiest place in the world to navigate by car if you don't know where you're going. And the challenge rules, of course, didn't allow us to use a sat-nav. What's more, as English is spoken rarely here, finding our hotel in the huge metropolitan sprawl of Spain's third largest city was likely to take some time. Unless, of course, I could think of a good way to cheat.
Luckily our transporter knew every rule-bending trick in the book, and he already had a plan. Just because we weren't allowed to use an electronic sat-nav didn't mean that we couldn't employ a human one. So we found a taxi rank, gave him the address, and followed him straight to the door of 3-star Hotel Petit Palace, Germany.
Slicker Estate.
Many times during this trip, we'd gone from one extreme to the other in the same day. And this was one of those occasions. We'd started the day in ancient mountain surroundings, but now we were in the buzzing, vibrant city of Valencia, checking into a cosmopolitan high-tech hotel. Petit Palace Germany is a boutique hotel in an elegant old building, set on a street that's quiet and serene by city standards.
The staff at reception don't speak a great deal of English, but they do go out of their way to help and are very friendly. As a result, you feel welcome from the moment that you arrive, and the front desk is always efficient. The hotel does have parking spaces available in the multi-storey opposite, and staff will show you where to park up safely when you arrive. Spaces are chargeable at the rate of €15 per day, but at least you're assured of convenient parking. So, having put our 508SW to bed, we set out to explore the old part of the city. Valencia is steeped in history, and it's the last resting place of the Holy Grail. That's right, the cup of Christ, believed to have been used by Jesus at the Last Supper, can be found in the city's magnificent cathedral. This is the only Holy Grail in the world recognized by the Vatican, and just one of the many cultural attractions to be found here. Walking outside, you find yourself in Plaza de la Virgin, the heart of the old city. The Basilica of the Virgin, the Almoina Museum, and the Crypt of St. Vincent are just a few of the sights that await you. Around this delightful square you'll find several excellent restaurants and cafes serving cuisine to suit every palate. As we've already said, this is the birthplace of that classic Spanish dish, paella. And paella Valencia, made with vegetables, chicken and rabbit, is of course a must here.
Valencia's old city is a truly remarkable and ancient location. The city was originally founded by the Romans in 138 BC, but was held by the Moors from the 8th to the 13th century. Much later, during the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s, Valencia was capital of the Republic, which eventually lost to Franco's forces. So it is certainly one of Spain's most coveted cultural treasures.
Like any city, parking is expensive, one-way systems are complicated and traffic is manic. But parking spaces are in good supply if you're brave enough to drive. There are, however, many more effective ways to see the sights. These include an excellent bus touristique service and an abundant supply of taxis, segways or bicycles to get you around. On the other hand, if you're feeling romantic, then horse-drawn carriages are also available to give you the ultimate in classic tours.
And what a tour it is, because everywhere you look, there is something to see. Round Square, Plaza Redonda, is a sight to rival anything that you'll find in cultural Italy. While the main square that houses government buildings is impressive to say the least.
The Art Nouveau Central Market is one of the biggest in Europe. With more than 1,500 boutiques, visitors are able to immerse themselves in the sense of local produce and enjoy fresh Mediterranean cuisine. You can feel the sea breeze in almost every corner of Valencia and stroll through its streets to reach the vivid blue waters of the Mediterranean.
Las Arianas and Malvarosa beaches are well worth a visit, while Marina Rail Juan Carlos I is one of the city's most televised sites.
Yes, every year in June, Valencia hosts the European Formula One Grand Prix, which transforms the marina into a street circuit. This is the event in the race calendar that allows spectators to watch the action live from the deck of a yacht. The city's also famous for hosting the America's Cup in 2007 and 2010, plus the renowned equestrian event, the Global Champions Tour.
So after our initial sightseeing tour, we return to Petit Palace Germain. As you would expect from a boutique hotel, the rooms are compact but well designed, with small ensuite bathrooms, and in many cases balconies that offer city views.
The rooms are well presented with robes, slippers, a well-stocked minibar and a safe. They also offer air conditioning, direct dial telephones, a hairdryer, complimentary newspapers and a laundry service.
In the rooms you'll find an iPod station and a decent sized television. There's a free bicycle loan facility that allows you to tour Valencia at a slower pace. You can even order a limo if you fancy seeing the city in style through the hotel's town car booking service.
Of course, there are a few drawbacks to most city hotels, and Petit Palace Germain is no exception. The distance between rooms is small and you do therefore hear a lot of echo from your neighbours. The bathrooms are incredibly compact with very thin walls that allow sound to travel. Need we say more?
The Wi-Fi is a little slow at times and you won't find any English TV channels.
In the restaurant, things look very modern, but it feels more like a stylish cafe than a proper dining room. You won't find the greatest variety on offer in the morning, but breakfasts are certainly worthy of the hotel's 3-star rating. The thing is to base your expectations on hotels rather than coastal or country resorts. This is the historic centre of Valencia. Of course space is tight, of course you can expect to pay a little extra for just about everything, and of course you can't expect to see herds of wildebeest sweeping majestically off into the sunset. At least not from your hotel window.
For that sort of view, you'll need to take a short taxi or bus ride to Biopark Valencia, situated nearby in Churia Gardens. Many countries have zoos or safari parks, but this one is slightly different, because you actually feel like you're wandering through the vast plains of the savannah, the equatorial forests, or the island paradise of Madagascar. Anyone who's ever seen the animated film will be amazed to see the real animals in their natural environments.
It's a llama up there.
King Julian the llama, Alex the lion and his family, Melman the giraffe, Marty the zebra, and the ever-hungry Fusa, and even Gloria the hippopotamus. Biopark Valencia is in fact the only nature park in Spain to have an underwater display where you can see Nile hippos swimming below the surface. And as I discovered, that's not the only special feature.
We try not to have any fences or visual barriers between the public and the animals. It is just all done with moats and with natural rockwork, so that the public can have the impression to be walking really through the natural habitat of the animals.
Yes, as I thought, there was indeed something missing. Fences. The enclosures are very carefully designed, so you never ever feel like you're in the zoo. It also features enclosures, where you can see several species living together as they would in the wild.
In the blazing sunshine and under clear blue skies, you can follow the path of elephants to discover the heart of Africa in this 1,000 square metre park without having to leave the shores of Europe. The only thing, in fact, that gives away the reality that you're not in Africa is the clear Valencian skyline on the horizon. Our challenge specifically required us to discover unusual animals along the way, so although lions and elephants aren't native to Spain, the unique nature of the park makes it a legitimate feature, and therefore ticks another item off our list. So all we needed now was some outstanding marine life.
And a short walk away, we found it. Valencia is one of the most action-packed cities in the world, especially for children. And the City of Arts and Sciences is an astounding place to visit.
Children can experience a range of science-based activities, such as conducting experiments on board a replica space shuttle in the Prince Felipe Science Museum. But it's the Oceanographico next door that may really capture the attention of younger travellers.
This is the largest aquarium in Europe and home to thousands of species, ranging from tropical fish to beluga whales. It really is Europe's answer to SeaWorld in Florida. Of course, once you've meandered through the vast underwater displays, you could just sit back and watch the dolphin shows. Or you could get a little closer.
This is Animal Passport.
For an extra €19, you can meet the lovable dolphins and sea lions firsthand. which is a real experience. Your tour begins with a briefing and a short film, which is in Spanish of course, but with English subtitles. Then you're off to discover what dolphins like to eat, before meeting the stars of the show. Here you'll see the trainers at work, before getting the chance of a lifetime. Having your picture snapped with a real-life dolphin. From there, it's straight over to meet the sea lions for another amazing photo opportunity. This really made the visit something special, and I wished that Tilly could have come with me. Unfortunately, you have to be 6 or over to take the animal passport tour, so she'd been watching the show from the stands. Still, she certainly seemed to have learnt a lot about dolphins by the time we got back.
What have you got, Tails?
Dolphin!
And what's he do?
Okay, so now I was feeling guilty, and on a mission to find something exciting for Tilly to do, which didn't take long. Feeding penguins! Fun! So Tilly was soon busy feeding Humboldt and king penguins. Despite the language barrier, she'd also made a new friend, and our bilingual guide made the whole experience entertaining from start to finish, with the most fascinating facts. For example, some of these penguins can reach speeds of up to 45 kilometers per hour in the water. They're also faithful to their partners for life, and hunted for a very unusual reason.
These kind of penguins are endangered because they are hunted because of the kind of, we call it guano in Spanish, which is like the poo they do.
Really?
Yeah, so the fish, and the people think that this kind of poo is good for the plants, okay? So that's one of the most important things that they are endangered, okay? So now is the reproduction time, so that's why they are always on the dry zone, not in the water. That's a female there, and she has one egg. That's why they won't eat a lot, because in this kind of year they don't eat really much, okay? And we have 2 king penguins over there that they are molting. They are changing the feathers, so that's why they look so big, and now they can weigh about 20 kilos, which normally they are like 12.
As the sun began to set over the city, we were preparing to move on once more. But what a day! Valencia really had been a surprising city. Before we'd arrived here, like the majority of Britons, we believed that this level of sea life experience could only be achieved by taking a trip to Florida. But at just over an hour away from most UK airports, this outstanding destination had certainly managed to make its way towards the top of our list of ideal short breaks.